Second Russell Brand video of the day. Well, technically, the internet's been goofy in my neck of the woods over the past couple of days, but not nearly as goofy as these accusations against Russell have become. Because, okay, you got the four big ones that are up at the top, accusing so many of the most terrible crimes, sans any real evidence. Well, I got some screenshots of some text messages. Okay, can you go ahead and explain the really basic bitch Photoshop edits that are right there in the middle of them? No? Oh, okay, cool. Just go ahead and listen and believe, because we know that women never lie about situations in order to achieve a certain level of fame or in order to see somebody else suffer. No, of course not. We would never have seen that one before. And now take a look at this. Russell Brand was known to be nasty if rejected. A comedian claims. Oh wow, comedians who are also known in this current wave of being ultra woke bootlickers for the establishment in order to get gigs on Saturday Night Live or those late night talk shows. Oh wait, they're closed right now, so I don't even know why you're even bothering to do this, because you're not going to get your career further. The only way that you can go ahead and do that is to be uniquely independent and to be a personality that people gravitate towards for being authentic, something that you're not being. But yeah, just look at the way that the media is framing this. It is so ridiculous. What was the first thing that you see right there? Oh, a crisis center hotline. We haven't even proven anything. These are simple allegations, dude. Maybe it's some legal mumbo jumbo. Maybe it's one of those, you got a license to print that, one of those additional provisions that a government steps in and requires that you have. Don't know for sure, but all I know is everything in this situation, well, it's all just kind of circumstantial at best and accusatory and defamatory at worst. Russell Brand had a reputation for becoming angry or a bit nasty. Okay, when his sexual advances were rejected, according to a comedian who once worked with him. Cole Parker, who worked with Brand between 2000 and 2002, oh my god, his debaucherous activity even stems back farther, because as far as we could tell, at least the 7-year time frame between 2006 and 2013, that's when those four very legit, very real accusations came out a decade after the fact. But don't worry about that. This goes back to 2000 to 2002 when Russell Brand was hitting on a chick. She said no, and he's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with you? Discuss the geopolitics with a fucking model? Like, you're worthless. You're here for one thing and one thing only, and we know exactly what that is. If you're not fucking, I'm leaving. I'm calling somebody who is. That's just the way it is, man. He's a star. In 2000, 2002, in 2023, he's a star. If you're not down to fuck, then guess what? You can get the fuck out. That's the way that it is when you achieve a certain level. When you, as a man, because that's just the way that women normally operate to begin with. If they can't get what they want, they're off to the next suitor. But then when a guy has that same boundary, oh, you're just a disgusting, you're angry and nasty because you don't want to talk to me as an individual. Okay, cool. If you want to have a good conversation with women, just ask them about their hobbies. I like to go shopping. I like to go to the beach. I post on Instagram. I'm an influencer. God, if you want to have that type of conversation, fantastic. You must make great friends with a brick wall. But no, is that what you're going to throw on top of this? He was just on to the next bitch if she didn't want to shoot on his uncircumcised jammy. I don't know if it is or is not. It's just, a UK stereotype. That's what we're doing. Yesterday, talked about the broadening of the definition of these terrible allegations, because obviously, yeah, you got the EPAR stuff up front and the SA stuff and then emotional damage. And now, well, he was mean to some models who didn't want to, do their part in this dance that we call nightlife. Okay, he's a comedian. They were working together as comedians. When do comedians perform? Oh, in the bright daylight hours, like noon, 1 o'clock? No. At night, after the show, in a club. Like, bruh, everybody's sauced up, and if you aren't here to help a brother out, well, guess what? You're useless in this scenario. That's the fucking way that it is, man. They're there for certain things. They're the comedians, the performers, the stars, they're there for other things as well. It's carnal. It might be a little bit crass, but that's exactly what plays out in these places. And if you don't know, then, well, guess what? Now you know. And there's nothing at all wrong with that. And that's just what I'm saying. And that's what they're grasping at this point in time, man. Because They don't have anything concrete. Like, the places are getting desperate. Parker said he has not responded to the latest claims and made an interview aired on Friday. Parker told BBC Newsnight that he's surprised the details were not made public sooner. I thought I heard something about him, just kind of being philanderous back in the cut, fucking anything on two legs that had a snatch. That was his MO. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's the way that he wanted to comport himself at the time. Good on him. Now he's telling a story about redemption and how he's a new and changed individual. Fantastic stuff. If that's your life and you want to live it. It doesn't look like anybody got hurt because, between 2000 and 2002, how many of those women have come forward so far? Because I'm sure, just like every other of these Me Too type accusations, they're soliciting bitches. We even seen with Channel 4 and BBC going out there on the stroll trying to pin down anybody that would say a bad word about Russell Brand, because you know why? They're shook. They're big shook, and that's why the only platform that decided to tell the big establishment to go fuck themselves, well, now they're going to go ahead and try to take them down. Because look at the way that the Daily Mail frames this. Russell Brand says that he has faced an extraordinary and distressing week. I would imagine so. You're just having your entire infrastructure taken down. YouTube demonetized you. Some of your sponsors going away. You've had the government, the fucking UK government, come out and try to shut down your TikTok account, your Facebook account, your X account, every single account that you can possibly have. And as a public-facing figure, you need those avenues of engagement. And if not just any specific entity, it would be bad enough if it was a not-for-profit establishment sticking up for the victims' rights or something like that, calling for these deplatformings and demonetizations. It's a government. I can't stress that enough. It's the UK government, arguably the third most powerful government in the world, wants you taken off of platforms, wants you to have the inability to monetize your content. Why? Because some women said something somewhere. Wow. There are criminals. There are actual convicted pedos on the platform. EDP has a fucking YouTube channel, for Christ's sakes, and he can still monetize on it. But Russell Brand, he's not allowed to because, well, he was getting a little bit too close to the target. And now to be the cleanup crew, the media can still target Russell Brand and then also take shots at that one place, that one shining beacon on the hill that refused to bow to the mob. But yes, he's had a distressing week in new conspiracy-filled video, but fails to address all of the allegations as he begs fans to support him on his $60 Rumble channel. $60 Rumble channel. No, that motherfucker's free to follow. And shout out to Rumble, because that's right there on the front page. You can see it right there. And shout out to Rumble for having it for front page first and foremost. And it's free to watch. I don't know what you're talking about. Does he have a Patreon or something like that? Enjoying the channel. You can go to russellbrand.locals.com. Okay. Yeah, $60 per year. It's actually not that bad, to be completely honest. That's like really, really, really reasonable. Okay. So they can't even get their facts right, okay? And that's not the only outlet, okay? Now you got the New York Post, basically running the exact same playbook. Russell Brand breaks silence, begs for support amid a rape accusation, just about said it, and a distressing week. A little bit more fair this time around, and they're going to source it from Instagram. Oh, that's funny, because where I seen it and where we're going to play some of it, because I don't like this uncharitable description of the video. It's only a couple of minutes long, so yeah, we'll go ahead and watch it. No, some of it. A lot of it's just promotion that, spoilers, he's going to be back on Monday and he's going to be addressing stuff. I know, right? Oh my God, he didn't address the allegations until he said, I'm going to be addressing the allegations on Monday. It's almost like these people want to push a narrative instead of listening to what the guy has to say. Russell Brand made his return on Friday to Instagram and X and Rumble and YouTube. I also seen a post over there, so it's not like he's given up on those platforms, even though they have in turn given up on him. But the support is definitely required, and he's at least saying that, hey man, if I disappear anywhere else, there's one place that's got my back. But we'll get to that shortly. Where he begged his fans for support. Again, I watch this. It didn't come across like that at all, but that's the way that they're going with it. Okay, he continues, all of that stuff. I mean, we might as well just watch and listen to it instead of just recapping the stuff, because just taken out of context like that, those are just his words. It totally makes sense. Katy Perry's ex-husband proceeded to invite viewers to learn more about his ruling Monday on his Rumble show. Rumble is a video app, is a rival to YouTube. Well, I sure as fuck hope so. And is avowedly committed to free speech. UK government sent Rumble a letter this week urging its urging it to follow YouTube's example and also demonetize brand. We'll just go ahead and hide that, down there at the bottom. Hey, a rival to YouTube should just go ahead and be like YouTube. Then you're not going to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and therefore, why would anybody go off of YouTube in order to just go to green YouTube? No. It's totally different. A lot of the infrastructure is the same. Christ almighty, if you guys are watching me on the nice, green, there it is right there. If you're watching me on this, shout out to you. You're already ahead of the curve, because I already know, like so many other people, but when 2024 rolls around, when the election cycle kicks into full gear, I don't know if YouTube right there is going to be a place for me. I have no idea, because I'm not going to change my message. I don't even think that it's all that controversial. Probably the most controversial shit was what I said at the first half of this stuff about the way that Russell Brand interacted with, the chicks that are just there to get fucked to begin with. Like, maybe that's the most controversial shit. Maybe you don't agree with me on that one, but that's all right. Frankly, I don't care if you disagree with me on that. That's the way that I've seen it. That's the way that I've moved in those circles before, but that's totally fine with me if you disagree with me. We don't have to agree on everything. You're here listening to my take on things because, well, I actually don't know. Maybe you think that I'm authentic. Maybe you think that I talk about interesting topics. Regardless, whatever you do in order to, give me the gift of your time, as I sign off of every video for, is because, well, I connect with you in some form or fashion. Maybe this is the first time that you're watching and listening to me, and I do appreciate you for doing that. And, well, maybe you're also sick of the way that the media is spinning a bunch of shit, and you're just looking to alternative sources in order to find it. So the way that the New York Post, and the way that the Daily Mail, the way that the rest of the establishment is trying to paint Russell Brand is please, basically over there rattling around a little cup with a bit of change at the bottom of it because he's so hard done by, and the only place that's going to stick by him is that dastardly right-wing bastion of Rumble. But yeah, that just wasn't the case when I was listening to it. So we're going to go ahead and play some of this, okay, because I listened to it, I watched it, it was on like 2 or 3 times speed. Obviously, not going to play it like that. We're just going to listen to a little bit of it and then interject as we need to, because I think it's a very important message.
Hello there, you awakening wonders. Obviously, it's been an extraordinary and distressing week.
Yeah.
And I thank you very much for your support and for questioning the information that you've been presented with.
Yeah, because for the most part, there has been a bunch of stupid people, Megyn Kelly, who has flip-flopped on this. Me, as you guys have noticed, I got the entire playlist ever since all this news broke. I am just generally skeptical when it comes to this stuff, and I've kept it 10 toes down. Provide me evidence, otherwise I'm going to say that you're cap. And yeah, a lot of other people. I would say the vast majority, about 90% of people have looked at that and been like, we've already been through just about a decade of this Me Too shit. Are you going to try this again? Seriously, this old tired playbook? So yeah, shout out to everybody for, just using pattern recognition skills, because that's what this is.
By now, you're probably aware that the British government have asked big tech platforms to censor our online content.
Here's something that none of the media outlets want to go ahead and elaborate on. He's actually going to break this down and be like, I wasn't necessarily shocked that the government, was going to intervene on this. And this is creepy as hell.
And that some online platforms have complied with that request.
Yes.
What you may not know is that this happens in the context of the Online Safety Bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already been passed.
There's also one like that in Canada. Thankfully, in the United States, you do have the First Amendment provisions, and then also Section 230. For as kind of use and abuse as that is, it does afford platforms quite a bit of leeway when it comes to, hey, it's not my content. We're just simply the platform. Can sue me. We're not going to be editorializing by taking it down and then revoking any protections that 230 would afford us. But a bill like that, C11 or... Yeah, no, it's Bill C11 also passed in Canada as well. So this, I'd have to do a little bit more digging on it. All I know is that the Canadian, the equivalent of the FCC in Canada, I forget exactly what it's called, but Canadian Broadcasting CB, whatever, I'm going to end up butchering it. But the Canadian FCC has jurisdiction on what platforms are allowed to put out there, okay, what they're curating. The Canadian government, the Liberal government, has a say in what gets pushed and what doesn't. So it's insane. And what Russell goes on to elaborate, I'm sorry for the pause face right there. That's atrocious, my friend. But no, what they have outlined in those videos is it's shocking, man.
I also don't imagine you've heard of the Trusted News Initiative.
Yeah.
Now, as is often the case when a word like trusted is used as part of an acronym to describe an unelected body, trust is the last thing you should be offering.
Yo, what's that famous Reagan quote? There's nothing more. Well, he's got two of them in regards to that. Nothing is more permanent than a temporary government program. And we got the the most difficult words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Yes.
The Trusted News Initiative is a collaboration between big tech and legacy media organizations to target, control, choke and shut down independent media organizations.
That's why the BBC, Channel 4, I don't know which umbrella ITV's under in the UK. Okay, that's why they're all so collaborative when it comes to the takedown of Russell Brand, who is quite possibly, like, I don't want to oversell it or maybe even undersell it, but I think he's probably one of the most prominent talking heads in the UK, because nobody gives a shit about who's on LBC. Okay, like BBC Radio, nobody's really popping off like that. And then when it comes to the independent sphere, I think it's like Russell, and then that's about it. Mostly because of his elevated platform prior to hosting different shows and then also radio talk shows over there as well, and then also breaking through to the mainstream. Like over in the UK, I might be a little bit off on this one, but he's at least at a point in time, he was about as close to an A-list celebrity as you could get. So he's got some clout, and that's why, well, that's kind of why I think that he's the perfect guinea pig when it comes to this soft cancellation effort ahead of everything for 2024.
Like this one. We'll be talking about that on our show on Monday on Rumble. But just...
Oh yeah, I'll be definitely doing a, probably not a breakdown, maybe not a stream on it, but I'll definitely be reporting on it. Maybe a stream, who knows?
To give you an idea of what the TNI is, this is a quote from one of their spokespeople. Because the actual real rivalry now is not between the BBC and CNN globally, it's actually between all trusted news providers and digital platforms.
Yo, that is creepy as a motherfucker. Landmark lawsuit accuses mainstream media of forming coalition to censor misinformation. Yeah, exactly. Because, well, hey, it looks like the government actually knows a little bit more than they're letting on, because the legacy outlet, they're allowed to just go ahead and push everything. Push the narrative, if you will. Because, well, a lot of their coffers end up getting stuffed with government dollars in Canada, and Global, CTV, and then, of course, the CBC, all funded to a certain rather high degree from the federal government specifically. And in the UK, well, obviously, you know, you got BBC, you got, Channel 4, and you got the rest of those cabal of idiots. Well, they're all just talking the exact same stuff, and everybody's just looking at it going, I don't agree with this. This is just, it's not entertaining. It's supposed to be entertaining, but it's not. It's barely informative, and it's not informing me of shit that I care about. So they've been cutting the cord, not paying their television license fee, and, just searching for alternative outlets for people that have a sincere extrapolation of the news, people that they can relate with, people that don't necessarily have the highest production budgets, but at least give an honest take on things, not the stuffy shirt, read it off of a teleprompter. Oh, this is the official opinion on things. No. Some people just want the facts. Some people want it distilled down for them, but that divide, like it's pointed out right there, is the establishment versus the new school. So
it's clear that these organizations collaborate in constructing narratives, whether that's around the war or the pandemic, and of course there are other examples. And it's very clear to me that we have to be very, very cautious indeed. That's why I'm asking you to follow me on Rumble.
The $60 no, Rumble's free. Rumble is always going to be free. You might not like it. It is catching up quite a bit. The app, even the Android app, is pretty good now. Every once in a while there's a couple of bugs, but it's playing catch up on the juggernaut that is funded by one of the biggest companies in the entire world. So yeah, Rumble is making leaps and bounds, and especially this right there, and their commitment to free speech is launching them into the atmosphere, and you do love to see it.
Rumble have made a clear commitment to free speech, and Rumble is the primary platform that we will be streaming from.
That's good.
We'll be back this Monday, and as usual, we'll be talking about deep state and corporate collusion, and how ordinary democracy is anathema now, how it's shut down, ignored and avoided.
Pretty much.
We'll be talking about a military-industrial complex that is able to facilitate and start wars that seem sometimes to be little more than money laundering operations.
Oh shit, the last guy that was talking about that went for a convertible ride in Dallas, Texas and didn't make it back to the garage. Don't do that. No, Russell, no.
And that's with all respect to the hundreds of thousands of victims of the numerous ongoing wars in the world at the moment. We'll be talking about the role of Big Pharma and how Big Pharma have been able to influence government policy around the world and how they've been able to evade due liability and necessary scrutiny, how they've been able to avoid media investigation that perhaps ought be due them. And of course, we'll be talking about media corruption and censorship. So please follow me on Rumble, because that's the only way that we can keep our voice. You can go to rb.rumble.com to support me directly and keep me and our channel independent. And I need your support now more than ever, and more than I ever imagined I would. So follow me, support our channel if you can, if it's within your means. But more important than any of that is that you please, if you can, stay free.
Did that really seem groveling? That really seemed like, please, please help me right now. There was only a hard sell, what, in the last 10 seconds to just check me out on Rumble. That's where we're going to be going. Okay, and if you want to go, because I'm pretty sure that RB, it's probably just, you know, just a tiny URL that he ended up snatching up or whatever. That was weird. I wanted to have him in the background for that, but whatever, man. Like, yeah, and then like he throws down right there. Okay, support the channel directly. Yeah, that's a $60 link to Locals, which, fantastic. Locals is definitely the way to go. Good Patreon alternative that you also don't have to capitulate to, because they're more than willing to take down people for off-platform content. But yeah, Rumble's free. Rumble's free, by the way, and Rumble, not on this screen, but I've seen it trending a couple of different times today because, well, the attacks on Rumble are going to be coming pretty strong, because I'd imagine they probably don't want him to tell, Russell, this is, to tell his side of the story on Monday, so I'll be paying close attention to this, and I, throughout this entire situation, couldn't be happier with the way that Rumble's handling this as a longtime user of the platform. It's nice to know that out of all of the different platforms that are out there, at least one has a creator's back. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.